welcome to Culture on I-24 News. I'm Oded Grober, happy to be here as always. Today on our program, we talk to musician Dida about her new album. We take a look at how cinema portrays the Armenian genocide. And we hear about a photography competition from Africa. Dida is a young Israeli jazz musician living in New York, where she plays some of the city's top jazz clubs. She's currently launching her new album, Modern Love Songs, which mixes her jazz roots with some other genres as well. And she will perform tonight at Ha'ezor Club in Tel Aviv. It's my pleasure to welcome her to our studio. Thanks for coming in, Dida.
Thank you. Hi.
So before we start talking and hearing more about you, let's take a look at a part of your song, Apology. Come back.
All right.
I won't do it again. Feel your eyes closing. No sorrow in your mind. No more pain or suffering. No need to run and hide.
All right, Dida, so it's beautiful stuff, but let's go back a few years. You're 20 years old, you moved to New York, and very soon after you start playing in jazz clubs, and pretty well-known jazz clubs with some well-known people. How did that happen? Whom did you sell your soul to? And was it overwhelming?
I got to New York, as you said, to study at the New School.
Okay.
So I was a student, and I got a student visa. And I started playing very fast at this bar next to a few blocks away from where I lived. And the owner is Israeli, Natan. So I asked him, I just came to New York, and a few weeks after I asked him, would you like me to play at this club? I would love to play here every weekly if it's possible. He said, let's give it a shot and we'll see. And after one Sunday night I played there, they asked me, what am I doing Sundays the rest of my life? So that was pretty nice. And then I had So I had my little place where I could try things, and I could call different musicians to play with me, because it was a duet or a trio. So I could call a bass player to play with me or a drummer. And that's how I got to meet a lot of musicians, because I could call whoever I wanted. I called different people. So with a little bit of
Israeli chutzpah, as they say, and well, there is a very lively Israeli jazz scene in New York, right?
Yeah,
so
definitely.
you always had someone to ring up and...
Exactly. I play a lot with Israeli musicians because, you know, it's always the most fun to play with your friends, and they're my best friends.
Right. Right.
So from this gig at Lila Bar, which is at the West Village, I met someone at another jazz club, famous jazz club, small jazz club, and this was a Italian trumpet player and producer, Fabio Morghera.
Beautiful name already.
Yeah. And outside of Smalls, we just started talking, and my friend and great drummer, Dan Aran, introduced us. And I think Fabio was intrigued, and he said, where are you playing? So I said, I'm playing at Lela Bar every Sunday. So the Sunday after...
Showed up?
Yeah, he showed up with his trumpet and played with us almost the whole time. They call it
One thing led to another?
Exactly, and he said, listen, you play jazz standards so well, and I'm sure you're going to go to many different directions after that. But you may as well just record this the way you do it right now, because I don't know if you'll do it later. I mean, this is your time to make a jazz record, because later you go to different directions.
And he wasn't wrong, because nowadays you are turning not away from jazz, but let's say turning towards other genres as well.
Exactly.
What was your initial connection to jazz?
I went to Thelma Eileen High School,
which is an art school in Tel Aviv.
Exactly. And I started playing guitar there. I didn't know jazz before that.
Okay.
I learned a few tunes for the audition to the school, but I didn't really know anything. And there they really have a way to get all these 15 years old into
Interested in jazz, yeah.
And like really interested. That was my whole life. I wasn't aware of any other music that happened at the time. Only like 50s or 40s jazz. So
that's what you knew
yeah.
existed. And now you're
Exactly.
realizing there's more to the music world.
Exactly. But then, you know, it's like we're Israelis, we want to be good at what we do, so the school really
Right.
motivates you to be good. And I was only playing guitar then, I wasn't singing yet. And that's how I got familiar with jazz, and it really, I liked it.
Well, luckily you're not luckily. I mean, jazz is fine, but you're also finding out there's more to it. How does how do your friends, your jazz musician friends, see you now when you turn away from the pure jazz? Because I'm sure it's not all good.
Yeah, but you make it sound a little dramatic, because I do play a lot of jazz still, and I think it's very natural. So I think everyone I know feels like it's natural for me to do it, because it's not like a forced change. I mean, there are a few years that I played this kind of jazz combined with country and folk and blues.
Well,
It's
the result's great. So you know,
Yeah.
I say if the result is good, it's all good. You're performing in Israel. You're actually managing two careers, one in Israel, one in the States, and globally as well.
Yes.
How do you divide yourself that way?
This is actually the first time I'm really releasing something in Israel, and it's fun for me because Israel is very close to my heart. And later in the year, I will, in a month, the album will be released in the States and also in October in France, and I'm going to play some shows there. So for me, traveling is very fun and natural, and it's very hard too, because I'm
Yeah.
always very sad to leave where I'm at. But
you're
it's
also
also
going
exciting.
somewhere, yeah.
And I know that I'll be back soon, because I'm always missing the other place.
Well, Dida, I hope you'll be back here soon as well. It was great to have you. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Change of atmosphere now. Since 1915, films portraying the Armenian genocide have played an important role in constructing the memory of these events. Daniel Campos takes a look at some of the most famous productions and the obstacles they faced.
Our consciousness of historical events relies partly on authentic illustrations, films, images, and documents. But for most people, motion pictures play a fundamental role on how we remember history. The genocide of the Armenians has been less present in public consciousness because the genocide took place in 1915. However, there have been movies made about the Armenian genocide. To this day, the most epic movie film about the genocide is the 1919 picture Auction of Souls. The story of Aurora Mardiganian, the Christian girl who survived the Great Massacres. The Hollywood adaptation was filmed in 1919. Turkish officials rejected the film as propaganda and lies. In 1933, a major setback for the cinema portrayal of the Armenian genocide took place, The 40 Days of Musa Dag, a novel by Austrian-Bohemian writer Franz Werfel. Based on the events was supposed to go before the camera. Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer secured the film rights and started pre-production work, but it was never filmed. It is believed that blackmail and threats by the Turkish government prevented the movie from ever becoming a reality. Starring Claudia Cardinal and Omar Sharif, Mother from 1991 was a semi-autobiographical film written and directed by French-Armenian filmmaker Henri Verneuil. The movie dealt with struggles of an Armenian family that immigrates to France from Turkey after the genocide. Armenian-Canadian director Atom Egoyan's Ararat in 2002 took a modern-day approach that dealt with the still open wounds of the tragic past and the very way we remember history. In 2014, The Cut, the touching story of a man in search for his daughters who might have survived the genocide, made headlines with the German drama film directed by Fatih Akin. The film was selected to compete for the Golden Lion at the 71st Venice International Film Festival.
The events that inspired this play were meant to be forgotten.
Most recently this year, a movie titled 1915 was released.
Many people still wish them to remain forgotten.
Directed by acclaimed actor Simon Avkarian, who also stars in the film's tagline is "You can't escape the past." Full of suspense, Simon's mission of staging a play at the Los Angeles Theater to honor the victims of that tragedy is profoundly dangerous, and a series of strange accidents spread panic among his actors. Exactly 100 years after the Armenian genocide, the ghosts of the past are everywhere for Armenian filmmakers. Committed to deliver the message regardless of the amount of obstacles, we can be assured that this theme will continue to surface on film.
In a moment, we'll hear about the winners of the PopCap photography competition, but first, here's our cultural recommendation for the day.
Tracey Emin's My Bed returns to Tate Britain 15 years after the work saw her nominated for the Turner Prize. Emin's My Bed was created in 1998 and is considered one of Britain's most celebrated works of modern art. The installation has been considered by critics as a dark, emotional place, and in the past, the work created controversial reactions in the media, since it features the artist's own bed covered in stained sheets, discarded condoms, underwear, and empty bottles of alcohol, giving insight to the artist's life after a traumatic relationship breakdown. For the return of My Bed to Tate Britain, the work is displayed alongside Francis Bacon, creating a more immersive environment in which to experience the piece up close.
And now Mika Głovic is here with her photography segment. Great to have you back, Mika.
Thank you. Hi, Dad. So today,
you're taking us to Africa.
Yes, I came across two very interesting photographers thanks to the PopCap non-profit organization that aims to bring attention to the African continent and to African photographers and bring them to worldwide exposure. One of them is called Zed Nelson, born and raised in Uganda, lives now in the UK, has done an amazing project reflecting on the situation nowadays at South Africa, 20 years after the supposedly end of the apartheid era. Nelson Mandela has preached for forgiveness, cooperation, and healthy democracy, but as a matter of fact, it's not quite what's happening right now.
They're not quite there yet.
No. Even though the African National Congress has came with many promises of improving the lives of the black population, the South African blacks still feel like they're left behind, and ironically, the minority of white group are better off.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the works speak of that.
Yeah. That's what we're seeing in these images.
All right.
Another amazing photographer that I really loved his work, his name is Tahir Karmali, that has done a project called Juakali. Now you're asking yourself, what
does that mean?
Juakali means in Swahili means fierce sun.
I need to work on my Swahili.
Yeah. It refers to the workers and laborers that used to work under the hot sun in the field, but today describes the people that work in informal and substandard work, and actually are the few that run the city of Nairobi. Now,
gorgeous
Karmali,
work, regardless of the meaning, which also sounds very important and beautiful. The works are incredible.
Yeah, so he managed to combine portraits with recycled items and create these surreal images that fit the Juakali world. And the winners of the competition will be showing their photos as part of an exhibition called Image Africa in Basel, Switzerland, as of June 13th until June 25th. And
well worth
I think
checking
we
out.
should definitely follow this photographer.
Yeah, definitely. Is that it, Mika?
Yeah, that's it for today.
Short and sweet.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
We're nearly done for today. I hope you enjoyed our show. We'll be back tomorrow, of course, and you can check out our website, i24news.tv. Till then, you can also find us on Facebook and Twitter. You can write to us, let us know what you thought about the show. We'll definitely take it to heart. We leave you today with music from Dida's new album, which we introduced earlier in the show, Modern Love Songs. Here's the video for Love Song Gone Wrong. Enjoy.
We saw sun, we saw moonlight, we saw everything we'll ever need to know. We set out in the wind at night and let ourselves be carried by the currents below. I was lost, I was wondering, it was everything they always said I do. You were lost, you were wishing on a star whose time has come to shine over you. But when the whisper of the wind dies down, I hear between us still the sweetest sound